Here we will discuss about the overall UI of the understanding the UI of the Maya. So we will start doing that. You can see there is a viewport and there is a viewport. तुमको सुनाई दे रहा मैं क्लास ले रहा हूँ. Sorry for that. And the background noise. So basically this is the viewport. So all your models and objects will be going to be visible into this area. And right now we are in perspective mode. You can see this is the perspective. If you press space key, so this will divide into 4 standard layout. So that has a one top view, front view and side view along with the perspective view. And that's the beauty of it. So basically you can see your model from every angle at the same time. On the top, on the left side, you can see there are some options that actually will allow you to move your object. To understand them, let's first create our first geometry. I'm going to create a box, right? A cube. And you can see I am looking at the cube from the perspective view, left view, side view and the top view. It all looks same because cube is identical from all the sides. So let's do one thing. First we will talk about how to navigate through this through the space, right? So I want to just maximize this perspective mode, and the shortcut for this is again space key. Alright, now you can drag around the object and you can select it, right? So I will select the object and now I want to move it. As you can see that at the moment I am not able to move the object or rotate it. And so the first way is you can simply click on these 3 icons. So this is move tool, the shortcut for this is W, this is rotate, shortcut for this is E, and this is scale tool, and shortcut for this is R. So R stands for rescale, E stands for I think I'm not sure, but let's leave it. We will remember this. So let me click on this, and as I click on the move tool, you will see I got the handles of X, Y and Z axis where I can move my object to all 3 directions. So and you can see when I hover on any axis, so it just gets highlighted. It means that that axis is highlighted, and if I click and drag, that object will move to that particular direction. Okay, let's do this again. Now I'm going to select the x-axis and will click and drag, and you can see I'm able to move my object only in the x direction. I can do the same with the z axis. Alright, so basically that's how you can make it. If you want to navigate through the space, and you want to rotate the whole perspective scene, so the shortcut for this is Alt and left click and drag. So if you press Alt plus left click and drag, so you will be able to rotate the scene. In the same way, if you press Alt and middle mouse key middle mouse button or wheel, so you will be able to pan the scene. If you rotate the middle mouse wheel, you will be able to just zoom in, zoom out the space. Alright, now let's rotate our cube. When I click on the rotate option, my handles being changed, and now I can actually rotate along it. The fundamentals are same. I just need to hover to the specific axis and it will highlight it, and then I just drag and it will rotate to that particular axis that will rotate. So you can perform the rotation and you can do any kind of rotation. Alright, now let's rescale this. So I will click on this, and this time the handles being changed. So you can see if I hover one axis and I drag, my object will rescale to one particular direction. Okay, and to understand this, how our object is rotated, you can simply rotate it and see the scene, that how it affected your object. You can also check, press the space key, and you can see the object from all the angles that's available. Right, now let's talk about these options. So basically these are the presets panel layouts. So this is our standard 4 panel layout that we can access through by pressing space key. That is our expanded panel layout. So basically when you want to expand a panel, simply click or hover on that panel. So I will go to this panel and press space key and it will move. Simple, very simple. Right? This is another layout. So basically there you can create custom panel layouts and you can save it as per your need. We will cover these in coming sections. Okay, so right now let's switch to our standard layout. Now, so basically this area is dedicated to the panel layouts and the movement of the object. So you can navigate through your space, you can navigate through your scene, and that will be helpful. Now let's talk about these shelves. So basically these shelves are kind of a space where you put all your tools that are required. So Maya has already categorized these shelves based on the options. Like when you click on the curve and surfaces, all the options related with the curves, they have already put it here. You can access the same things here as well, same options from here as well. You can see all the options are available here on the surface. You can see all the options, you can just notice here. Alright, so you can see this is bevel and this is bevel is here as well. Poly modeling, this is one of the most common sections you are going to use it, and you can see you can create the polygon spheres, some common actions. You can use text, and you can access these options from here as well. So like you can combine, and here's the combine option. You can combine and separate. You can fill all. If it is not there, we can edit. Mirror, and here's the mirror. So that means the most common option, the most common commands are being collected in one specific manner, and that's being categorized. So it will just improve your workflow, it will improve your speed. So, and this is a very intuitive way of working. Instead of remembering a lot of shortcuts, this is a quite easy way. So just categorize them and use these specific commands. So you can access all the other, like for the rigging, animation, rendering, FX, effect caching, all these Arnold, and all these things. So we'll switch to the poly modeling because this is one of the most common thing we are going to use. Now if we go a bit above on the top, so this is these are the common options that you can see, like a new file, you can open the new scene, you can just save this current scene, undo, and the redo section. If you notice these small arrow, that means there are some more options being hidden. So you can simply click on that and it will have some more options like object, all objects. So basically you can make selections. So let's say you have created some objects and with the combination, so you can make a decision that what objects you want to see. Just like that. So basically I'm going to select on that, and these are the selection methods. So basically you can select by hierarchy as well, and the object type, as I said. So basically the point is these multiple selection options will come very handy when you will create some scene or something that's very complicated and have a lot of objects in the scene. Then at the time selecting a specific object and finding it becomes challenge. That's why. Now here is one more options. So you can click on this small arrow and you will find some more options being hidden. So basically these are the options that actually comes handy when you want to actually add some joints and surface objects. So basically it's these are the options that actually also available for the creating the ring, all these things. Alright, so basically I will just hide it up, whatever is necessary. This is very important. So basically these are the options that will help a lot. So basically we can snap an object to grid, we can snap to the curves and the points and the projected center. So the thing is that this will help us to align our objects. For example, let me make one more cube. I will just increase its height so it looks like a wall. And now let's say if I want to align two objects. So first I want to duplicate it or clone it. So we'll go to the edit and click on the duplicate, Control D. And now let's say I have just aligned here and I just want to place it exactly next to it. So either I will have to just manually shift it, but manually it may not be very accurate. Either you will leave some space between or you will actually overlap the objects between, and both situation is not good. So the best way is to just actually click on snap to curve. So because right now we do not have any curve, so it will not help. We can make snap to the points. So now I have clicked on the snap to the points, so it will snap to the grid points. You can see. Now you may ask the questions that why this is not aligning with this, and why half of the area is being overlaid. So the reason for this is that our center point is exact center. Like you can see, it's complete center, and the center point is snapped with the vertices. So that's why we can actually project a center, we can snap to the planes. again. So basically the when you want to align it properly, so what I'm going to do is, first we need to move our this center, pivot center, and the best way would be to right click and click on the vertices mode, select any vertices like this and click on center pivot. Right now I'll just go to the object mode again. Now you will see that my object is aligning properly. You can see, and this time you see that my objects, my walls are completely aligned. There is no space between, and if you see it in wireframe mode, these are not overlapping, and that's the best way. So you can turn off the wireframe mode here, and in the same way I will just turn off these snap options. Live surface will come handy when we want to actually create the retopology. So what actually it does, it just selects any surface and makes it live. So basically you can start putting the polygons onto that surface, so that the geometry actually sticks to that surface and you can create a good topology. So these things are going to be covered in the coming classes. There are some more options here. So basically you can select the render view. These are the options for rendering. You can click and select the open render view. You can also click current frame. So if you want to render current frame, you set directly shortcut. This is IPR, so interactive render preview. At this moment it is not showing anything because we have not set up the scene, we have not added the lights. This is the render setting. So here you can actually decide which render you want to use, what will be the size of your exported image, what image size you want to render, and a lot of options like how you want to keep the quality of the render. So it's quite detailed. So these sections are also going to come. Then you are going to see the hypershade window. So hypershade is very similar like a material editor in 3ds Max, but it is quite a detailed and a bit more comprehensive as compared to that. So here you can see all the options, and by clicking here you can create any material. So most common material is AI standard surface, and when I click on that you can see a lot of options being projected here. So new material is being created, and this unknown material has a lot of options to explore. So the reason is that here it gives you a lot of fidelity and a lot of options so that you can actually modify and get the look you want. You can create any kind of material from this, like from the metallic to the fabric or anything. You are free to do this. Next we are going to check render setup editor again. So basically what it does is just when you want to render multiple frames, and then it comes very handy. You can put all them into the renders. You can see the overall settings. So it just gives you the idea. If there are lights, it will show how many lights are going to be, and it's a kind of a brief general view and understanding of okay, what are the objects you are going to render into the scene and what are the settings. Then lights. So if you want to add lights, you should be so light editor is, you can add light by simply clicking here, and the point is when you click on any light will come on to the origin. Here if I click on any other light, they will just create the light and you can simply move it away. Okay, so why this is because when your scene gets complicated, you had a lot of light sources, and then you need a separate panel where you can just see how many lights you have used, and you can actually edit each and every light individually. Then it comes very handy. Here you can actually see the location, the intensity, you can change the exposure, and that's why you can also switch between the scenes as well. Alright, so let's turn it off, and then this. So basically what it does, it just what actually it does, it just frees my current frame, so I cannot move it, so it becomes handy to render it. Sometimes let's say I set a camera angle and I set the scene, and by accidentally I just move scene or rotate it, then I have to again fix it. So that's why it just locks it, and it comes very handy. Now I cannot move it, and that's how it is actually very handy. There are some more options. So basically this is input line menu. So let's say the basic is you can use this XYZ input fields to move the object to the specific position. Like if I want to move to object to the 10 units on the y-axis, I will be able to move it. So it's similar like in 3ds Max, you see this kind of options where you can actually move objects, rotate it. This time I have moved selector, that's why if I select rotate, then here I should be able to add 30° and it will rotate to the amount. So based on the selected object, it will take the property and it will just apply it. On our right side, you see there are some options, some panels that I have not talked about, and that's I'm going to talk about now. So when you create any object, the first thing you see that when you create anything, just channel box and layer editor comes, and it just tells what is the object you have created, what is the default name. So you can change the name of the sphere by sphere, and you can click on the inputs. So when I click on the input polysphere 1, it just gives me the more details, like what is the radius of the object, what are the subdivision axis and heights. I can increase, I can decrease. So that's how actually I can change the units. But remember about this, you can access these primitive options only first time. So if you made any changes here, or let's say if you made it, if you edited it's any polygon or edited any edge, then you may not access it. Some point you can, some point you may not. I think it gets restricted when you delete something. Like if I delete one face, then it will become really not possible for it to access it. And now you can see the input, and I have lost all the options for this. I'm able to still see this because this is also a history. So like whatever I do, whatever actions I take into any object, it just records. But as I said, it has a limitation. If I edit it too much, then I will probably lose these primitive options. So basically I would advise you to first edit these settings, and then you can actually start editing the object without getting worried about accessing this again. Alright, so and on the bottom it's a layer panel. So what actually layer panel is, you select I have added some objects more to explain it better. I added one cylinder and one cone as well. Now the thing is, at this moment nothing is on any layer. If I select these two objects and then create a layer, I first need to name it. So I will name it. Select it. You can actually change the color. And remember that even if I have selected and created the layer, these objects have not been added into this. And how you can check, you can simply click on V. V stands for the visibility, just like I in the Photoshop. See, if we turn on, turn off, nothing happens. But when I select the objects and go to here, hover on the layer, right click and select on add selected objects, you will notice these objects have been now included into the layer. Now when I turn on the visibility, these just disappears. So layer comes handy to organize things, like you can put all the trees into one layer, you can actually put all the similar kind of geometry in specific layers. So that helps a lot you to organize your scene and will be handy to work on. Like I usually put the background assets into one layer, I put lights into one layer, I put a lot of things that may give me an issue while selecting. I just put them into separate layers. We see on the one more side is the modeling toolkit. You will probably see this. If you do not see, simply go to the mesh tool, and here it will say show modeling toolkit. Right now, because it is already showing, that's why it is hide my modeling toolkit. If I click on that and click on this, it will start showing. So what actually it has all the options, like this is object mode. If I select an object, if I click on the vertices mode, so it will just change into vertices mode. I can edit it, then I can switch to the edge mode, polygon mode. So basically I can do all these actions with just this panel. So this panel tracks a lot of other options as well. So I can turn on the symmetry, I can actually set the constraints, I can make some operations like combining the objects, separating, smoothing components. I can extrude, bevel, bridge and multicut. So we will access these all options in coming classes. Then I will go to the attribute editor, and this is one of the most important editor is panel is because it has all the information about the object, its properties. Like you can see a lot of things you may not understand it, but I will just take you through to just quick tour, right? And understanding this is important because these settings will help you. So it's a polytorus. It was a name when we had created it. It's the history. Subdivision axis, subdivision height is 2020. If I can increase, I can decrease. Initial shading group. So basically, it just tells that what shading it has, and at this moment you can see the Lambert material is being applied. And just to make it clear, so Maya by default applies Lambert material. So you will need to apply the Arnold material manually, and then you can actually render it. You can see there is an option for Arnold as well. So if I click on this, it will just show me the options. Click on the Arnold and click on the AI standard surface, and you see it has already created an material. See, it is also telling that which layer it's been in. So you remember I created one layer named selected. So when I select the object and see attribute editor, it also tells me that where, in which layer it is. Its name, its editing options, radius, initial shading group I have added. Then I will click further and it'll access the settings for the Lambert material. Alright, so that's how it works. Let me actually use some light. Let's create some light, and it will be so I have created the light, and now actually if I render the scene, you can see now my object has started looking because I have just added the lights. If you can see, as I am increasing the intensity, the scene is getting updated. If I say let's put intensity to 500, it will look quite obvious. If I say 100, so that's how light reacts based on the source of the light. So we will have a lot of options to explore in coming classes, and I hope that you may have liked this class, and if it is, I'm glad that this class helped you. And if you get interested, join the next class on the Monday probably. Check the schedule and do not miss the class. So basically we are going to create a lot of things, lot of assets. We are going to create a lot of some hard surface models, weapons, some card, and some environment as well. So the point is, this class is not only a fundamental class, but it is going to be a project based working model. So basically you will create a lot of models that you can put on your portfolio. You can show it to your employer where you are applying, and it may help you to get the job. Alright, so that's all for now, and I will see you in the next class.